Oh, the Millennium Falcon. All right.
Star Wars guy when I was a kid.
Yeah,
Then they've gone off the rails.
it's not good.
Same thing with my Marvel universe.
You know what
Marvel universe was great for a long time.
Yeah.
There's a thing called Endgame. Endgame means it's over.
Endgame should have ended it.
Endgame means it's over. What are we doing?
Well, the problem with this is all in the pod. Welcome to Chicago Bears podcast.
Yeah,
we're just jumping straight in. Appreciate you guys for tuning in, showing love.
You know what Infinity Wars means, Pat?
Yeah.
Infinity means it can go on forever.
Yes.
And then the next movie is we're going to end it all.
Yes.
Then end it all.
Yeah.
What are you coming back at me with? I don't want to see nothing no more.
You know,
are all dead. Boom. Some of you came back. Who cares?
You know what I didn't like? They went with the underneath characters. Like, it was like, okay, now we got to tell the side stories. I didn't need the side stories. I didn't need to know what Loki was doing on weekends when, like, the Tesseract wasn't being kidnapped and all of that. I didn't need it. I did like Ahsoka, though. I loved Ahsoka. Big Rosario Dawson fan over here.
Are you?
Yeah. Listen, Jurk.
Out of all of it, Black Widow is one of my favorite characters. Groot.
I like Groot.
I mean, if I had to rank my characters, Groot would be up there.
Yeah.
The whole Guardians of the Galaxy thing was a wonderful little offshoot.
Yeah.
And then they re-intertwined it, so I kind of like Ant-Man to me. What the hell? What are we doing?
Yeah, I didn't need him. I didn't need him.
Then the Bumblebee Man.
You know what I don't.
The Bumblebee Man. What are we doing?
You know what I don't like? I don't like characters where I can just be like, why don't you just shrink down to the size of a pea, go inside the guy, and expand? Yeah.
Blow him up.
Wait,
my superpower is getting big.
Well, we don't want to kill people.
That's what I used to tell the ladies.
Hey, yo. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Chicago Bears podcast.
Hello.
The good kid is here.
Getting big. Whoa.
We got to talk about some interesting Bears football because yet again, we got a Bears-Packers matchup. Yep. Good kid. I have to ask you this question. I feel like this is the biggest question in Chicago sports right now. From week one.
How great was I when I played? Is that the number one question? No, okay. It's
listen.
That's the number one question.
I've seen some of the tape. Good kid. You were pretty good.
One good game.
You were pretty good.
I had one good game.
From week 1 to week 17. We've now seen the second half of the season where Justin Fields seems like he's starting to get better.
Sure.
Has he done enough from week 1 to week 17 to gain the good kid's vote of confidence
5 weeks
moving
ago,
forward?
5 weeks ago, I said they're both coming back.
Flus and Justin.
I said it on the air. I said 5 weeks ago that both of these guys are going to be back. I said I predict Eberflus is going to be back. I think Justin Fields is going to be back. Now, with the Justin Fields thing to the city of Chicago, I want him to play as good as he can.
Yes.
In the Green Bay Packers game, I hope he throws for 290 yards and he gets 3 touchdowns and he runs one in and the Bears score 30-plus points and everything's fantastic. I want the rest of the world to be convinced that he can play also. That way, all your options are open come off season. Right. Now, I think he's going to come back because there's something called leadership and there's something called, hey, we'll play for our guy.
Yes.
Because though our guy may not be a classic drop back Joe Montana quarterback, our guy is a very effective quarterback who's overcome a lot of adversity, who's overcome a lot of doubters, and we believe in him. And it's because we believe in him that we want him back and we want him to be our quarterback.
And the Bears locker room has echoed that every time they get asked it.
Now, Ryan Poles, as the general manager, has got to decide, can I win a Super Bowl with Justin Fields? And that's the business he'll go about this offseason. They'll look back. They'll look to the future. They'll look at all the tape on all these college kids that are coming out, and they will figure out, do we take Fields after we've worked with him for 3 years? Or do we want to go with somebody that we believe has more upside and is close or near where Justin Fields is right now, and then we can become even a better football team? Now, you risk alienating your locker room. You risk doing that.
Yeah.
But if the guy that's coming in is better than the other guy, and I promise you there's turnover.
You're alienating only for a couple of weeks.
Right. 1991, I was there. By 1995, when I was there, it was me, Leroy Butler, and Ken Rutgers.
Yeah.
So in 5 years, from 91 till we started the 95th year, actually only four off seasons,
right,
there are 3 guys out of 53 that were left.
Mm.
So that's the type of turnover you find in the NFL sometimes.
I mean, we're seeing that now, right, with this team.
Right,
Look, what do we got? Jalen Johnson, Cole Kmet, Tevin Jenkins, Eddie Jackson. Is that it?
I think so.
Am I running out of Mooney? That's 5, and Fields and Justin Fields. That's 6 guys from the Pace era.
Is there a long snapper of any of any want is Patrick Scales. I think he's been there too.
Yes.
Oh yeah.
Yes, he's from the Pace area as well.
He's from the Pace area. Yeah. So.
Santos, is Santos a Pace guy or was he a Poles guy?
I can't tell you.
Yeah,
I can't remember. They had all the kicking woes.
Yeah, I don't know if we found
helicopter flying over Soldier Field trying to watch those.
We've
guys
come a long way here.
Yeah,
We're not doing kicking camps and training camp.
Yeah.
Competition's heavy.
We've got 17 kickers in here and an Australian rugby football player.
And yes, we did. We had a rugby player.
All types of craziness. So.
But from week 1 to week 17, you've seen the improvement. You've talked about it on a consistent basis. Let me ask you this: when you see I think defensively, 100% the Bears team has improved.
Oh yeah.
Offensively, over the last 6 weeks, it feels like there's been a jump. Have you seen enough improvement for Luke Getsy? Or are you going into this game versus Green Bay feeling like you better coach for your life? If you win, you're here.
If I'm keeping Fields, I'm keeping Getsy.
Right.
Those two are married at the hip, whether they like it or not. They may not like each other. I don't care. Doesn't make a difference. Those two need to realize we are relying upon each other to propel ourselves forward. And it'll build both of our reputations if we find a way to be successful. That's it.
Right.
Period. Bottom line. That's it. The two of them are tied at the hip.
So there's
a better chance you can get rid of Getsy and still keep Fields. The problem is you're going to change your offense again.
Right.
Are you changing your offense again? Are you changing your calls? Are you doing it all over again? Are you starting from, and not personnel-wise, but offensive theory-wise, you'll be starting from page 1 again.
And that's why, right, like the question that I've asked has consistently been, how important is leadership at that position, at the quarterback position?
It is. Wonderful play.
Yeah. Is better.
Exceptional play.
Yeah.
Naturally leads into a leadership role, but overcoming adversity can also lead because, people watch you overcome. People watch you start to achieve. People have seen you struggle, and then they've seen you get through that struggle. And let me tell you, he's got through that struggle in a classy way.
Yes.
You can't say anything against the individual. He has gone through all this in a very classy way.
Yes. Everybody wanted to kill him for when he's like, he threw his coaches under the bus. He doesn't believe in him.
Week 3,
week 2 or 3. Yep. And then as the season goes on, DJ Moore's talking about the play calling. Darnell Mooney's talking about the play calling. Matt Eberflus is talking about the play calling. Ryan Poles comes on ESPN 1000 for the pregame and goes, schematically, there's some problems here, guys. Yeah. You know what I mean? Like, I think that it's well. I almost want to say there's a locker room vibe where they're okay with just being open, and everything that we hear, we're like, "Oh, this is sending a message. This is him telling somebody something." And I think they just they come out and they talk because we've seen it from the whole team.
Well, I think what you see in the tape it tells you everything you need to know.
Yeah.
So when they were using their horizontal passing game at the beginning of the year, you scratch your head and say, "What the hell are they doing?"
Yeah.
When there was no offshoots from the vertical passing game, something different. I mean, even last week, you saw him fake a quick screen to the right and then roll him left.
Yeah.
Right? Fake the quick screen, roll him left. He ends up running in for a touchdown because everybody gets bogged up in the middle. So there's an offshoot of a quick screen play, a counter. Hey, look, we're going to run it. No, we're not. Here we go the other direction. Or if you're at the 50, you fake the quick screen and you release the guy long and then you find a way to hit him. I think their confidence in the decision they've made to be able to go long early.
Yeah.
It allows them to put a team on the back foot. Once that team is on the back foot, they're like, now these guys are willing to run patterns. We can't squeeze everything. We can't accordion it. And now you see how better the Bears defense is when they're getting pressure on the quarterback. And now you can sit on short patterns you can jump short patterns. And all of a sudden you're getting interceptions left and right. And Jalen Johnson's going to the Pro Bowl. You know, that kind of thing.
Yeah.
And the sweater.
The sweater. I like that one. I like that nickname.
Yeah.
The sweater.
I call him the sweater.
I'm not mad at it.
Not because he sweats.
Yeah. He makes the quarterback sweat.
Probably looks good in a sweater.
Do you think he's got a good sweater game?
Good, great sweater.
Phenomenal sweater game.
Remember the old Coogis? The old Coogis.
Oh, what do you know about little Coogee sweater action here? You're going on now.
Leroy Butler used to sport Coogies all the time. I myself never an owner of a Coogee.
Not a big lot of bright colors in Coogee.
Not only bright colors, horizontal lines.
Yeah.
Lines, they're wavy and they're patternish and they were different, but they were all horizontal.
Yeah.
Some guys can't wear horizontal stripes. I'm one of those guys. Vertical stripes for me.
Yeah, good vertical stripes.
Vertical. I got a vertical stripe game.
You wouldn't have looked good in that Packers or that Steelers throwback, is what you're saying.
No,
yeah,
horizontal
the
stripes.
Bumblebee that's a bad look for you.
Bad look for me.
That's all right. That's all right, man.
Yeah.
But as long as you look good on the field, that's all that matters.
That's all that matters.
At the end of the day, and I like that we have this final matchup to really look at, because I think that this is one emotionally, it's going to sway the city one way or another. We know that.
Sure.
But it's a real test for Justin Fields on a game where, listen, there is a real impact on people's careers here.
Yep.
If you don't perform well today. I think that the pressure in this game will say a lot about who he is as a QB.
Listen, I always say the quarterback gets too much credit when they win, and he gets too much blame when they lose.
Yes.
This team is truly relying upon each other. The defense playing well, getting pressure, the defensive backs when
Not
pressure
muffing
there.
punts.
Everybody works on this thing together. The longer they control the ball, the less the defense is on the field. The more the offense for the other team feels like, okay, our possessions are going to be limited because they're controlling the ball. We've got to do something. They're more willing to gamble. They're more willing to maybe go off of their play things to try to get big chunk plays, and the Bears get a chance to make some defensive plays off there. I think it's all kind of relying upon each other, and the Bears want to play a specific way. They want to get out front. They want to grind you. They want to take away your possessions over the course of the game, over the 60 minutes. If they can control the ball for 35 minutes, they can convert third downs at a 40% plus clip. If they can, force a couple of turnovers, that's the way they want to play the game.
Yeah.
Establish the run, including with the quarterback. And then this is a team that once they learn to win from the front, because 3 games they've blown, that double-digit leads, they blew 3 games.
Yep.
Once they learn how to get up front and then, like a boa constrictor, you get
on
around your prey, you hold on to them every time they take a breath, you just squeeze, you squeeze till the 60 minutes are over. You took the life out of the game, you took the life out of the opposing team, and you won a game. I think that's what they're going to try to do. That's the recipe for a victory up in Green Bay.
What did we see against Atlanta that kind of allowed them to finally do that? I felt like that was the first time this season where in the second half of the game, they took real control and they didn't let go.
Well, I would agree that the Atlanta was a top 10 defense, pretty good defense. The defensive tackles were substandard. Specifically number 98, which allowed Lucas Patrick and the 2 interior guards, Nate Harris, even though Nate Harris has struggled a little bit lately. Nate Davis. Why I say Nate Harris? That's Napoleon Harris. I'm thinking a different guy. Yeah, Nate Davis. Nate Davis struggled a little bit, but listen, I've seen Nate Davis play some really good football.
Yes.
But when you drop a little bit of technique, all of a sudden you become susceptible to things that are happening to you. And the arm over has kind of victimized him a little bit. So that's something he'll work on in the offseason. You play pass block with your feet. So he's got to work on his feet. He's got to work on not leaning forward, that kind of thing. Those are all fixable. And maybe with an offseason here with the Bears and with the real preseason, we'll be able to get 17 solid games out of him. I'm not concerned about Nate Davis. I just think he struggled a little bit. But Tevin Jenkins is a monster. You re-sign him. It looks like you've got to re-sign Jalen Johnson now.
Yeah.
I would agree. The world is recognized now, and
he's a free
not
agent,
just
right?
with
teams didn't want to trade for him,
not just with coverage, right? Not just with coverage, and he's salty and he wanted to get paid. What he's done on the field matches now what he might want to get paid.
Yes,
he wanted to get paid before doing it on the field, and when you do and you perform, you end up getting paid. That's the way it works. And this year he's come out and he's done and he's performed and he's actually gotten some interceptions, which is nice. And the kid 29.
The second we got pressure, right? The second we got pressure, Bears went from not having any interceptions to 22.
That's why it's more important to have guys who can get to the quarterback than it is to have guys who can cover.
Yeah.
Because the guys who can get to the quarterback are going to help you cover. Just happens, okay, Jalen's a pretty good player, so you're probably going to have to pay him. Eddie Jackson, you say goodbye to. We've talked about that in the past. Thanks for everything. Thanks for the 7 years.
Keep him on a team if he was willing to restructure?
I don't think
for leadership.
I don't think he's willing to restructure.
No, okay.
And does he have to restructure, or is he done with his contract?
I believe he's got 1 more year left, if I'm not mistaken.
Well, you might let him play the year out next year and let him play on that contract. I don't think he played well enough.
He did not. In coverage, he was a nightmare.
Well, if he's a nightmare in coverage, let me tell you who's unwilling to tackle. There's one guy on this team that's unwilling to stick his head anywhere, and it's because of his injury that he's had in the past.
Yeah, so
he doesn't want to repeat performance of that injury.
His age 31 season, he's got $14 million coming his way.
Yeah, so and depends on how much dead money there is. He may become just cap casualty. Say if you want Danielle Hunter.
Oh yeah. Well,
what if I want Danielle Hunter?
And
I'm going to sign Danielle Hunter to
cap
the
hit
contract.
would be $18 million.
Yeah. Cap hit next year would
cap
be
hit
18
next
million.
Year is $18 million.
That's what I'm looking at. 5.5. So you'd save $9.5 million or $8.5 million. So that's what I'm looking at. What am I saving?
Right.
If I'm saving $9.5 million, okay, I'm saving 10 with Whitehair being gone. Lucas Patrick, I'm saving $3 or $4 million.
Yeah.
You know, I'm just trying to find that money where you might be able to utilize it. How can I get myself a stud defensive end? Well, we can go to Danielle Hunter and say, Danielle, we'd like you to sign you a 3-year contract or a 4-year contract. We want you to come off the corner. We want you to do what you did against us. Okay, that makes sense.
Yeah.
Or you move down from one to
Chris
something
Jones,
with another team that wants
Jones.
to come out. You want to, I think getting a guy that can come off the corner is important.
Yes.
It's important. And
well, we see it on the other corner, right?
And my guy Dexter, we've talked
Is
about
he Javon yet, or is he still Gerving?
No, he's still Gerving.
Okay.
It's Gervin Dexter, and he's becoming more and more like Santana Dotson.
Yes.
Which I've called for.
Yes.
I called for an offseason of watching
Since week
nothing
1.
but Santana Dotson film. And I said he's going to get better because he played in a system with Ass in the 2 gap. So his instincts down there that he's been trained because of repetition and habit is to read and react. And this is not a defense where you read and react. This is a defense where you come off the ball aggressively and then react. Come off the ball aggressively and then react. So I think he's getting better and better, and I think he's got a chance of being a real good player. So that I am happy for. Pickens was ahead of him. Now Pickens hasn't had the same opportunity as Dexter, so it's going to take Pickens a full offseason, some strengthening, and let's get back out there and let's grind. And of the guys in the middle, they re-signed Billings already.
Yep.
Big Bill. I like Jones. I like him. This is why I like him. I like him. And any team that needs a good guy in the middle, he'll be good for it.
Yes.
Like if Jones, played for Atlanta and they got rid of that 98 who can't play, they'd be a better defense interior if Jones was there. There's going to be a spot for Jones in the league.
100%.
Jones can play.
100%.
Jones can play. If you've got nobody better than him, you can put him in there and you could be a solid interior defensive line. He's never going to be exceptional.
Yeah.
You know what? His ceiling, you know where his ceiling's at. So,
and I wouldn't drop him back into coverage. I wouldn't drop
I got to show you some film then. I'm going to show you some film of me in coverage.
You dropping back?
Dropping back. Covering.
Who you covering? Who are you
Jerry
covering?
Rice, 17 yards down the field in a playoff game.
Were you
in a playoff game?
Were you leg and leg with them? Were you keeping up?
What they said was they've never seen a zone flip. And they've never seen more mobile hips than they've seen on this guy right here.
Yeah, listen.
Oh, I was the Elvis Presley of defensive tackles.
That takes us back to the beginning of the show where you were talking about what you tell the ladies. You got to tell them about the mobile hips.
Nothing but hips, baby. Brent Jones. Who else did I cover? Touchdown Timmy Brown.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, you got back there.
Oh, I dropped in coverage. Yeah.
Well, here's the
old zone blitz.
I think here's the difference with you and them. How many touchdowns were scored on you?
None.
In 2 weeks, we saw it with Justin Jones. 14 points were given up.
I did miss a play. We did a play against Dallas in the NFC Championship game, and I did miss on my zone blitz. They did a shallow cross with Michael Irvin, and I was paying too much attention to Novacek, trying to get under Novacek. And the ball was thrown directly at me, and I'm sitting there like I'm going to catch it. And here comes Michael Irvin right across the middle, ball in his hand. I'm like, what just happened? It happened so quick. So Irvin did catch a ball. Brown caught a ball in front of me, but I tackled him right away.
Yeah.
There's no yak yardage.
Yeah, you're not
yards after catch. It wasn't allowed.
Justin Jones got a lot of yak on him right now.
Yeah.
A lot of yak on him. 2 touchdowns, 14 points. And I think
we had Matt Brock an interception too. He was like 12 yards downfield when they tried to throw the ball over the middle.
Yeah.
Matt Brock is a defensive tackle out of Oregon that got drafted in the late 80s. And he went up. He got it. He brought it down. I mean, it was like, what?
Any run back on that?
He might have had maybe 4 yards.
Oh,
he's so happy to catch the damn thing. But we, in our defensive line stuff, we'd work a tip drill all the time.
Yeah.
where guys are catching the ball. And as part of our conditioning,
Not the
we
Nelly
go
video.
through 4 or 5 lines of the coach throwing the ball to you, bad ball drill where you just had to find a way to come down with the catch.
Yeah.
So we always practiced it. That way, if it happened in a game, here's the other thing we practice: throw the ball on the ground as a fumble and pick it up on the run and try to take it to the house. Not just land on it
Not
like
just
a big
like
fat slob.
batting it.
And
where you break a rib landing on a football.
Right. When it was there, too, we learned how to cradle the football, sliding up to the football on our sides and cradling it, as opposed to landing on top and rolling right over it. I mean, that's all practice, all stuff that one can learn and utilize. And the more you do it, the more it becomes second nature, which is important.
Every time I see somebody just like dive on top of the football, I'm just like, your ribs have to be just in pure pain right now.
And you can see it. They get it too, and they'll get the solar plexus hit, and then all of a sudden they're out of breath.
Yeah.
That kind of thing. Do you know the stats for the Bears-Packers rivalry?
Right now, or what, you just talking wins and losses?
No, I'm just talking about 9 in a row.
Heading into this,
into this, 9 victories in a row.
Yeah.
15 of the last 16. It's 26-4 in the last 30 contests. I'm just letting you know. I mean, there's some of these. I thought they were bad in the 90s. Remember when Brett Favre was kicking the living crap out of the Chicago 100%. Bears? I thought it was bad. It's really kind of horrific.
No, it's getting to a point where it almost feels mental, right? Where you go into the game and you're like, we know going into this game we're probably not going to win.
And Jordan Love has been impressive.
He's been better.
He's been
a lot better.
3,800 plus yards. They're 5-2 in their last 7. They're playing good football, which is when you want to catch them. I don't want to beat the Packers when the Packers are bad.
Yeah.
If I'm the Bears, I want to beat the Packers when the Packers are rolling, when they're good, when they've got something on the line, and something is on the line.
100%. Playoffs are on the line right now. And I think that the interesting thing going into this Packers game, right, I gave the stat yesterday on the pod. Packers are 2-6 when they scored 20 or less points.
Yeah.
Chicago Bears have not allowed more than 20 points since week 11 versus the Detroit Lions. You've got kind of this this war in the middle that's about to meet, where their stats right now align perfectly with your stats. Now everybody's going to wrestle in the middle and see who's going to come out on top of it. I think the one thing for me with this season that I think a lot of people may have figured out, Matt LaFleur's a heck of a play caller. And I think a lot of people were just like, well, of course you're a play caller with Aaron Rodgers. You're going to be elite. What he's done with Jordan Love, I have to give him credit for, because Jordan Love did not look like this to start the season. And now at the end of the season, you're seeing a quarterback that looks confident in the pocket, looks confident with his receivers. Our relationship is right. The things that I want to see happen with Justin Fields, unfortunately, we're seeing happen yet again in Green Bay.
Well, I mean, and good for Green Bay and good. And we don't know. This could be the cgive This could be a Jordan Love ceiling, but we're seeing
which I would love
of what Jordan Love could ever give you.
That was my hope.
And that's fine. I give him credit. Here's another question for you. Green Bay Packer trivia. Who's their leading pass receiver on this team? And how many yards does he have?
Is that Jaden Reed right now?
It is Jaden Reed. How many yards?
I would say he's got 750.
681.
It was a little high.
Everybody else is under 681. Now, they've thrown for 3,800 yards.
Yeah.
So even if everybody had 700 yards, everybody had 7 equally. You're looking at what? 5 guys?
Yeah.
5.5 guys?
Spreading the ball around well.
He's spreading the ball everywhere. Now, Watson got hurt, which forced Jaden Reed to play a little bit more, and Romeo Doubs, who's the second leading receiver. And then there's another guy that's come out, Montevidean Kirk or Montevidean Wilkes or Wicks or something. This guy's come out of nowhere with 500-plus yards this year. Yeah. So they got the ball to Dillon. A.J. Dillon has got some. Yeah. The other kid from Notre Dame's got some yardage before he got busted up. They got the tight end, the new tight end. It's got some yards. But the point is, the ball's going everywhere.
Yeah.
So they're doing it with the ball. I do think the Bears' defense is better than the Packer defense is.
I think the Bears' defense might be able to fluster this Packers offense that has.
Well, that's what we're looking for that. And listen, I don't care if the field is good or bad. Take advantage.
Yeah.
Take advantage of whatever you can take advantage of. I think this defense is going to be popping people in the mouth. I think it's a very aggressive defense. I think they're going to be getting after the Green Bay Packers, and I find the Bears getting a victory this week.
Now, you've played in this rivalry. You played in this rivalry when it was very much like it is now.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, very, very lopsided in the Packers'
the crap
favor.
Out of the Bears. And let me tell you what it was in 1 year, 73-9. 2 games. 73-9. We ran for 200 yards in each one of the games. One of them was the Blizzard game here on Halloween, October 31st, 1994. 73-9.
Yeah, that's how it feels.
I don't know what you think that is, but in my world, that's called an ass beating.
Yeah.
And we used to take Wani and the boys when they'd come up and when we'd come down, and all we did was smack the living crap out of them. Why? Because we could.
Yeah.
And we did.
When you're winning like that, because for Bears fans, for what you hope in Hallis Hall, this is a rivalry. When you're winning like that for the Packers, is it a rivalry for you guys? Is it a rivalry when you're playing on the team?
When you play up in Green Bay, you take the little guy. You got the Napoleon syndrome going.
Yeah.
You're the little guys. You're in a small town. You're in this. You're in that. Yeah. You can't beat in the 80s. The Bears had the better of it in the 80s. I didn't really start playing until 92.
Right.
I played at the end of 91, so 92, 93, 94, 95. We split in 92. We won both in 93, won both in 94, won both in 95. I think they won both in 96. The Packers got off to an 0-7 start. I mean, the Bears got off to an 0-7 start in 97. Two of those losses were against the Green Bay Packers.
Yeah.
So it was like 10 in a row at that point. I was gone in Jacksonville at the time, but I went on the radio and I see, these Bears could start 0-7, and you're nuts. Worst they'll be is 3-4. Worst they'll be is 3-4. See, I don't know. You got a pretty tough schedule here. I go 0-7 into the bye. That's exactly what they were. I called McNeil and Bors, the heavy fuel crew.
Yeah.
I said, I don't know who told you. I go, you want to bring back the sound, or do you want me to repeat it? I go, do you want to repeat my prediction I made in August?
Yeah.
That and I'd always watch the Bears. My brother got drafted by the Bears. I grew up a Bears fan. I'm still a Bears fan now. But back then, you just kind of watch from a distance, and I knew the NFL real well because I was playing it, and I just looked at it, and I said, I don't know. 0-7 is a real possibility. When it happened, I felt like Nostradamus. I felt like a football genius. I go, look at me.
It's almost like you know what you're talking about a little bit.
Future in this
business, was that the first taste of you feeling like you could be the radio guy after?
Actually, it was 92. I had done some radio before that. 91, I hosted a radio show in New Holstein, Wisconsin at the Altoona Supper Club in New Holstein, Wisconsin. And I drive an hour there. They pay me $50, and I drive an hour back on Monday night. And the guy that was working there said, you might have a future in this thing. Then I did some television, and Dick Blazek, who was an executive with the Green Bay Packers, had a videotape, and he put it in there, and he started giving me his coaching advice. He goes, listen. He goes, you hear all that, He goes, silence is better than So if you're going to say something, it's better not to say anything and hesitate. Get your thought together and then just come out with your thought. So I had people coaching me. I had people pulling me aside, people giving me advice. That's why if I ever get a chance, I just give a guy a helpful piece of advice. I give him a piece of advice.
Just hit me with something right there, because I feel like I say all the time.
That's just it. You've got to be able to hesitate, then come to the point. Whatever point you're going to say.
Right.
And it happens to all of us. We get caught in thought, and instead of just kind of sitting and contemplating, we'll go, well, no, I don't know. I don't know at all. Why are you asking me? Do you know? That's a crutch that you have to transition into another thought.
Yeah.
Don't use your crutch. Silence is better going into a new thought. And if you can't think of what you want to say, hesitate and then say it.
Getting everything on this podcast, man. You got Marvel talk in the beginning, Star Wars talk. You're getting podcast and radio advice from the good kid. He's been in the game. You're getting football knowledge. He's been in the game.
Bring Yoda back. Come on. Bring Yoda back.
What? Bring Yoda back.
I want Yoda. I don't want the spawn of Yoda.
Have you?
I want Yoda back.
The baby Yoda's weird. I'm not gonna lie. I wasn't a huge fan of that one. Have you done Ahsoka? Have you seen Ahsoka?
What's Ahsoka?
Ahsoka is about Darth Vader's Padawan before he became Darth Vader.
No.
Good storyline. Good storyline.
Yeah, it doesn't matter. If I want to watch, I go to the original 3.
Yeah, you're just taking it back.
That's it.
You're just taking it back.
I saw them all. I saw them with my daughter when they came out with the one where the like the planet blows up.
Oh yeah.
I thought that was
with
good.
Rey and all of that.
Rogue Warrior or Warrior 1 or whatever it was.
Rogue One.
There were a couple nice ones that came out.
Yeah.
And then they basically redid Star Wars again, where they came in and they had to shoot in the tunnel. I go, wait a minute. I go, am I watching another movie, or did they send me? They sold me a line of crap.
Yeah.
What am I doing? I'm watching the same movie again.
It's supposed to be a trilogy.
Trilogy, my ass. Drives me crazy. You know what movie I watched yesterday?
What'd you get?
Excalibur 3.
It's not a bad movie.
Denzel Washington.
Yeah, it's not a bad movie. Yeah.
Anytime you get Denzel in Italy, it's got to be good.
Yeah, it's not a bad movie. Actually.
I enjoyed
that. I love a good Denzel.
And then he gave the girl the bag of money, $366,400, and she goes, "Well, why'd you do this?" She goes, "All that money, you just took that." He goes, "It's for you." She goes, "You take it to him." She gave the guy's name, and then she goes over and she gives him the money, and then she sees the reaction, and then she figures out he doesn't have to tell her why he does what he does. He wanted her to see it.
Yeah.
So
got deep on you.
Yeah, if you're in a position of power, sometimes you can help affect things for the positive, not the negative, like we see going on here at a certain island.
Oh boy! Oh, hey, listen,
not fantasy.
Listen,
island.
there's I'm staying away from that one right now. I'm not gonna lie to you. I'm gonna stay away from that one.
You gotta have fun.
You gotta have fun. Not on the island. Let's not have fun on the island, Jurko. Let's avoid the island.
Yeah.
Your name's not on the list, is it?
No, not mine. So, I mean, I went to St. John, St. Thomas down there on cruises. Had a good time when I was with the Packers. Man, we go on cruises. I went with Alonzo Spellman.
Yeah.
He
on the list.
He was. I don't know, but he was a very personable young man.
The entire list.
No, but listen, he was a very personable young man.
Yeah.
Bears drafted him in the first round, I think, 1992. I was on a cruise with him, I think, in 94. A very personable young man. Didn't think he was going to go haywire the way he went haywire.
He went a little wild there.
Yeah.
Went a little wild.
And Coach Singletary was there to settle him down. You remember that? Oh, you were young. You were young.
I don't know.
Yeah, you were young.
94 Jurko, I was born. Yeah. I was born.
Well, I don't know when he went haywire.
I've known the story, though.
Right. I don't know if he went haywire in 96 or when he went, when he had his episode. I call him episode.
Yeah.
When he had his episode. But it was Singletary there that was simmered him down and got him settled down and got him brought back in, Hey, there's a lot of pressure on a young man. You come out of college, you come into the league, and things aren't exactly going the way they're going. And then all of a sudden, you who knows what other issues you're having in your private life. And then all of a sudden, things just, they're spinning. Everything's tumultuous. And sometimes you don't react in quite the way one might react. So it's never easy. So
but
I always find, well, Chase Claypool's a model. That's what the guy wants to be. It's okay. He's a good-looking kid. He's in South Beach. He's looking, to get in Gentleman's Quarterly. He is a model. He's a good-looking kid.
He does.
He wants to be a model, and I think he wants to get in the music business because he told Mike Tomlin he'd like to hear a little music during practice. And Mike Tomlin says, "I'm the coach. I'll decide what we do during practice."
Yeah, I remember. Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Tomlin got a lot of interesting wide receivers.
And let me tell you, Montez Sweat has made people forget about Chase Claypool here.
Oh, yeah.
And Ryan Poles should thank Montez Sweat every single day of the week.
Well,
he should go give Montez a big hug.
Well, he did in the video. I don't know if you saw the video.
Yeah.
It was a large hug in there.
Well, I'd be giving the hug of a lifetime. I'd never let him go. That's a double bear hug.
Thank you for making them forget about that second round.
Yeah, I don't mind. Listen, if you think you can make an improvement on your team, and maybe, I don't know, maybe to be fair to Chase Claypool, I'm always willing to give both sides of the story. Maybe Chase Claypool came here too early.
Yeah.
And nobody was going to help Justin Fields develop but time. Maybe the only thing that was going to help in Justin Fields was time and more opportunity and more chances.
Yeah.
Now, I'll offer you this. If he played all 17 games this year, including next week, he'd probably be a 3,100-yard passer.
Yeah.
3,400 maybe even. He's averaging 201 yards a game. So I'd give him a 3,300 yards. That's what I'd give him. That's all I wanted from him. The passing touchdowns aren't there. I think the rushing and the rushing touchdowns, I think he's done enough. But him escaping from where he escaped from, keeping that play alive, you could win with Justin Fields. It's not a problem. And maybe that game he played last week is going to propel him and give him the confidence going into. I mean, I watched Favre struggle against Minnesota. He's afraid of John Randall and Henry Thomas and Barker coming off the corner. And Chris
I think
Dolman.
Most quarterbacks were.
Okay, they were afraid.
I think most quarterbacks.
And poor Frankie Winters and Harry Galbraith and Dave Wydell. They were up there. Doug Wydell was Dougie, his brother. They're up there on the line of scrimmage, and Kenny Rutgers, and they're just Joe Sims, and their heads are just swirling and spinning. Maybe even Earl Dotson at the time. And they're like, how are we going to handle what the hell they're bringing at us? Sometimes they didn't. Eventually, they learned how to handle it. And
Yeah.
eventually, the Packers started beating the Minnesota Vikings, on a regular basis.
We'll see what it ends up being. What's your prediction for Sunday, Jurk?
I said it yesterday, 24-19 Bears.
Okay. All right. We'll see what it ends up being. I think the Bears defense is going to shut down the Packers, and I think the Bears offense actually can throw against the Packers defense that Joe Barry has no idea what that's going on.
My 19 is 4 field goals and a touchdown.
I would agree with that.
Right?
Yeah.
4 field goals and a touchdown.
I got a big win. I'm going all in last game of the year. Might as well 31-19.
There you go.
I think the Bears can score a lot of points versus a defense that's a joke. Appreciate your
maybe the Bears bring one to the house too. Jalen Johnson or
pick
Stevens.
six.
Yeah,
I thought you meant like a kickoff. I was like,
no.
I haven't seen a kick return in weeks.
I think there's been 1 or 2 kickoff returns for touchdowns in the league.
I don't even.
Yeah, there has been.
I can't even tell you who did it. Like, Patriots did one last week.
Yeah.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, and then 99 yards. Yeah,
Yep.
It's a dying art.
It's a shame.
Yeah, we'll see.
It's a
what
shame. As being a wedge guy, it's a shame.
We'll see. Yeah.
I say that we ran it so well in Green Bay, they outlawed it 16 years later.
The rule.
My argument.
Listen, the rule changes are coming. They're debating whether they're going to get rid of it. So
I think it's a great play, and if you've got the advantage, it gives you positive field position. Why they took it away? They didn't take it away because of Devin.
No.
I can't wait for that debate to begin.
Oh, here we go. Hey, that'll be next week on the podcast because I can't wait for that. But as always, man, it's your boy Pat the Designer back at it again, joined by the good kid John Jurkovic. Let's see if the Bears go out there and get a dub. Burst the Green Bay Packers. Y'all stay safe out there, Chicago. Bear down. Peace.